Today I am chatting with Sageon from the Knights. Mate, welcome and congrats on your first MVP.
Thanks. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you earned it. It was an absolutely insane match from you last week. You just farmed order completely. Why do you reckon you played so well individually on that night?
First of all, it's not just an individual performance. Even with entry stats, it's always a team effort. You know, I'm playing off my teammates a lot of the time. A few of them are grenade kills. But personally, I have been doing a lot of work, like recently. Basically been doing 3 to 4 hours of individual practice a day now, ever since I finished uni. So I think when you put in the work behind the scenes, it'll always show up in your gameplay. I think that's what is happening now.
Yeah, wow. A lot of people talk about scrims, dry runs, and the strat making behind the scenes, but what does your individual practice look like? What are the things that you prioritize and work on?
As an individual player, I do a lot of aim training. I like to have like an aim trainer, like AimLab or Kovacs open, and then Terrace on at the same time. And I'll kind of flick between the two just for hours while listening to music. Just try to develop my mechanics, like iron out any weaknesses. And also as kind of an in-game leader, I also do a lot of watching of other regions. I would also count that. It's not really individual practice, but most of the time it's done like on my own, you know, in my spare time while I'm eating, anything like that. I love to watch other regions. So yeah.
Yeah, wow, quite the work ethic sounds like you've developed. The casters during your match spoke a lot about your role on the team as that in-game leader that you mentioned, and that carries a lot of responsibilities. How do you balance that with trying to perform individually?
To be honest, it was very challenging at the start, but nowadays we've kind of shifted our structure with leadership to kind of, I would say almost, we have 2 or 3 in-game leaders at any point. I'm very good at looking at like an overall perspective, but then Juicy and Dino kind of cut in, and they're very good at micromanaging and directing individual people to look at like different things, you know, little specifics. So I rely on those 2 very heavily. I'm not just a solo, like traditional in-game leader. While I do have a very important voice in the team, I would say Juicy and Dano are both equally as important now as well. So that really allows me to focus on my individual game a lot of the time, especially early rounds.
Yeah, you get 7 opening kills, so your early round is clearly doing something right at the moment. You guys have had some serious highs, but also some serious lows. Stage 2 was insane for the Knights. You qualified for the 6 Mexico Major, but sadly you couldn't make it due to travel restrictions. How did this affect your motivation, the team's motivation?
From an individual standpoint, I've never been hungrier. As soon as we couldn't make it, we started putting in plans, like next time we could try this. Like maybe the restrictions will be eased. Like every event that goes by, it only becomes more likely that we'll be able to go now. So it's only made me hungrier. We're definitely seeking out that next qualification because there's a higher chance we'll be able to go. I want it even more now, to be honest. Yeah.
After that peak in Stage 2, your coach and captain have admitted that in Stage 3, the team got a little bit comfortable and you dropped that 7-1 loss to Chiefs, plus you had 2 losses in APAC South, not quite living up to that Stage 2 performance. How did this kick you back into gear to bounce back for the rest of Stage 3?
To be honest, we had a big team meeting. Everyone was just very honest about what we think we're doing, what's going wrong. And I think when you air those concerns and they all kind of come to the surface, everyone's comfortable with each other saying that stuff. I think that's very, very helpful because that's really the only way to move forward. So we've done that now, and we've started to improve on those areas that we perceived as weaknesses. And hopefully we'll see the improvement now in game.
Those Stage 2 playoffs, you did get knocked out by the Chiefs after making a really good lower bracket run. Can you give us any insight into what's happening behind the scenes to make sure that you'll go even further this time?
We've really strengthened our regular season in OCN this stage. So hopefully that higher placing will really allow us to just focus on 1, maybe 2 games. I think if we win this week, it's only 1. And so that should give us a much better chance to go further in OCN.
Yeah, well, you guys are sitting at the top of the standings right now, so if you win with 3 points in your final match of the stage, you will guarantee that grand final spot. All the best for that, and thanks again for coming along.
All right, thank you very much.